Well, I have a wonderful electronic invention I want you to see.
This is James Mathers at NAB 2019 for the Digital Cinema Society and Studio Daily. I'm here at the Fiilex booth, and Robert Schleicher is going to tell us about a new unit. What is this? I thought I knew all the Fiilex lights.
Yeah, so Jim, this is something new we're bringing out at this year's NAB, and we're calling it the Quad Matrix. It's a way to take 4 of our Matrix lights. In this case, it's 4 Matrix 2 RGBW lights, both with tunable white light as well as color capabilities and various special effects, and mount them in a single frame. The frame provides also for mounting of the power supplies for each of the 4 lamps. They're mounted down here. A convenient way to attach the lights. They can be added on or removed just with 3 quick bolt placements. Power for the lights is routed within the frame of the quad, and it's also possible to have DMX control, daisy chain through all the lamps and routed up through the frame of the quad. So you create, in effect, one large panel light from 4 matrix lights.
You must have tremendous color variability.
Yeah, so each of the lights has a variety of color modes. In addition to tunable white light, our CCT mode, which goes from 2800 up to 10K actually. There's a color mode where you set U, going around the color wheel, and saturation from 0 to 100%, as well as intensity. There's a variety of different ways of controlling it with 3 DMX channels, depending on whether you're focused on tunable white or multicolor. There's also preset gel modes built in, both the gel in front of tungsten and the gel in front of daylight, as well as a variety of special effects, things like police car lights, candle flame, fireworks, lightning strikes, and so forth.
You can gang them together or do separate.
You can gang them together, you can run them separately, depending on what DMX addresses you want to line up, or just use the existing controls. One of the nice things about this is you get the punch and the light output of a large panel, but yet for transport and setup, it all breaks down very quickly. So 2 lights will go in a travel case on wheels, another 2 lights will go in a second travel case. The frame itself is going to have a set of straps to just put on your back like a backpack. So an individual can actually transport the whole setup. Total weight, one setup, is in the range of 80 pounds, which is a lot lighter than some of the popular large panel lights.
And what's the power draw?
1,300, a little over 1,300 watts. So there's a single power cord running to the frame. Power is distributed. And as I like to think of it, it's less than a typical hairdryer.
So that's a pretty big light to have on a household circuit.
Yeah, exactly. So it all works fine off a single 15 amp household circuit, but you could do it if you wanted to. I mean, it's more light than you'll want in your living room, but we think this is going to be very popular. In fact, the idea came from a gaffer that we work with in New York City who loved our matrix lights and just said, you know, if I could have 4 of them in a panel, it'd be wonderful.
I know we've got it dimmed way down for our camera, but let's turn it up and see what we can do on this wall over here.
Yeah. So let me get the intensity up. This is just in tunable white mode, and they're all set at 3,200 Kelvin. And now they're at full brightness.
So you got the white, the building outside behind me.
Yeah.
Cameras there. Oh, that's bright.
We're trying to blind some
But no problem balancing against bright. You can use it for daylight fill, it looks like.
We can set it to any color temperature from 2800 to, in the case of the RGBWs, they'll actually go up to 10K. Our version of this light that's straight tunable white without the color effects is 2800 to 6500. What's also a neat feature of these is they have plus or minus green, magenta fine adjustment. So you can either do that to a little better job of matching, you know, maybe some ambient light that's not all that great, or maybe correct for some ambient light that maybe has too much green or a little too much magenta. We calibrate all of our lights over 8 color temperatures, both the plus and minus green magenta settings as well as the flat black body radiation curve. We do it at 4 or 5 intensity levels as well as different temperatures, and we put a temperature sensor in each of our LED arrays, so it'll maintain color temperature and color accuracy regardless of what the user settings are. So when you dim these down, they stay at the same color temperature, they don't shift. When you go between tungsten and daylight, you don't get any fall off of the black body curve. They'll track the curve very well over the whole range.
So it's RGBWW?
Well, it's a little bit of our
Magic?
Our secret magic, yeah. We use multiple channels of LEDs in our arrays, so it's not really classic RGB or RGBW. It's a blend of many times more different custom or separately controllable LED strings in each of the arrays.
Well, let's see some of the color.
Where the 3 controls are now hue or color, saturation and intensity. So I'm going around the color wheel and changing the color, and then the saturation, you can kind of see the color changes best with 100% saturation, so you're more around the perimeter. And let me go around kind of slowly again. Let me dim the intensity down because the colors will still be, I think, good. And we'll go around the color wheel in hue, and then at any given color, the saturation control lets you dial it down from fully saturated to a center white point. So all of the colors converge to that one center white point at 0% saturation. Some of the gel presets, well, let me skip the gel presets. It's a little tedious to go through those, and talk about some of the special effects. So double click on the mode, we get effect mode, and let's do police car, or cop car and for short. So, whoops, hold on. Let me go down to, oh, you know what? It's I got to change the color of the police car mode. Here we go. So I want, let's do red and blue. And I don't know if I've got is it, okay, so one of those lights is,
Don't want to see that in my rearview mirror.
yeah, and now how much people will use some of these special effects, I really don't know. But it seems like color is what you need as an extra set of features. We have the ability to do it, and so it's just a matter of programming in things with different firmware loads.
How about flame effect?
There's also a flame effect. There's both a kind of a bright flame effect and a very faint single candle flicker effect. There's lightning mode and some other ones at different preset levels of both brightness and then the effect itself. With the police car mode, you can select whether you want red only police cars for that older police car look, red and blue, blue only, or even amber if you want it to be a tow truck effect.
Looks like a great light. Nice addition to your line.
Yeah, we're really pleased with the reception to date for the individual matrix light, and we think that for certain applications where just a lot of light is required, this quad frame will be very attractive. I should also mention that each of the matrix lights has an accessory that consists of a quad Fresnel lens. So the quad Fresnel is a pop-in accessory. Just pull it out. Without the Fresnel, it's still 4 arrays behind a diffuser plate, and it gives you a very soft light for its relatively small size, and about a 99-degree beam angle. This accessory consists of 4 Fresnel elements positioned over the 4 array locations and tightens the beam to about 30 degrees with about a 2.5 times more punch. So we think in this application it'll be the norm to use the Fresnels. We're also commissioning a softbox to fit around the whole frame That'll be, I think, a Fiilex branded softbox, at least initially. So I've got the 4 lights now set up. This one's in tunable white mode for producing daylight. And then the rest of them are in our HSI color, saturation, intensity mode. In this case, the saturation is up, but I've picked some of the in-between colors, magenta, a yellow, and a somewhat bluish cyan. And they're all at very low intensity, just to not be blinding everybody. I think these are all at 1%. So we think sometimes people will have this, they'll unbolt 2, have a double and 2 more side lights, or whatever arrangement makes sense for the shoot.
Thank you so much, Robert.
Thank you.